Hello, everyone. I welcome you to another learning workshop. Friends, this one is a part of our purpose series. And today I come to you with a story from my life. This one is where I'm going to share with you a phase of my life where I was actually in search of a purpose and was totally confused and lost. So I've titled this as a faulty approach to finding purpose. This is my story of a faulty approach. I would have put in the certified as a tag here. My story of faulty certified approach, I should say rather, because this is a story where I was into a phase of my life where I would prefer calling it as a chaotic phase and in the middle of nowhere. By this, I meant I was neither working in a corporate job because I had quit corporate, and nor was I a coach, which I am now. So I have not established my coaching business, which goes by the name of Guide and Advise, and nor was I an employee. So I was somewhere in the middle of a utter chaotic phase. And this is I'm sure this story of mine will be very helpful to you all, very specific to purpose, because this was a phase which I guess most of us, when we actually complete a particular set period in our workspace, we do tend to get into this a bit of a chaotic phase. So with my example, I had already completed 13 years of my work experience at this point in time. And I was very disappointed with my career progress. With people around me, I cannot manage any of the office politics. And I would flee from even from the interviews. In fact, I have a video on this. I think it's part of the video playlist called My Failure Stories, and it's one of the interviews that I actually ran away from. So you could, even watch that. It has some different perspective and lessons in it. But for now, back to our story of faulty approach. In our session today, I would like to share with you first this phase of mine where I was extremely confused, lost, and heedless despite my 13 years of work experience, and I was looking for clarity and direction. And on my own, like most of us does. My intention here is to bring to your notice that when we do things on our own, we often tend to adapt some faulty approaches, the same thing I did. That will be the first part of this session. And the second one, through a metaphor, I would like to share and explain some key elements about purpose. And together, I hope by the end of this session, you will have a lot of clarity about this very word concept of work purpose or purpose. And also, what is it that you would do if you are going through a similar kind of situation where you feel confused, lacking in clarity and direction, and you may have also hit a wall, like you've spent more than a decade at your workspace and now you feel you don't know where you need to, which thread you need to pick up and move. So here's the session with a noble intention to guide you and help you with that clarity. Let's get started. So this was me in this chaotic phase. And since first thing, friends, I would like to emphasize this here. I never knew that I could hire a coach for myself. So while I had mentors and I would seek their help, I wish I was aware that a career coach could guide me. So since I was not aware, that was one. Second, my mentor gave me limited support to the extent that the person knew. So I don't blame the mentor. I had no help, and I, in fact, also never looked for any because I thought I know it all. And with this faulty approach, I would believe that the number of certificates I would have before my name somehow will land me into some very lucrative job offers and uh, titles, powerful titles, and I will be quite successful. I've already finished 13 years, and what else do I really need? This also stemmed from my lack of self-awareness, my inability to deal with office politics, and my limited knowledge on the support I could have had applied for or invested in, which I didn't do. So, but instead, I went on doing all these certificates, and this was how my signature would be, or my headline on LinkedIn would be, with all these certifications that I was acquiring for myself. Friends, to one extent, upskilling oneself is not incorrect, but this faulty approach of mine, what I would like to emphasize here is about the approach or the mindset where I'm assuming that mere certifications would guarantee me a job and even success. But despite these certifications, it was quite obvious, even though I applied to several jobs, because I had quit corporate, I was still not a coach. So I was working as a freelancer, and in that freelancing assignments, wherever I have to put in my bio, my profile, I will very proudly display all this list of, these certifications and my expertise and my know-how, which was there for sure, but it actually never fetched me any, I should say, in fact, even a interview calls. So I would sit and wonder, what is it that I'm missing in my approach? I'm working so hard. I've studied so many courses, and I've successfully passed these exams, and I'm a certified personnel. And so the one main area which I missed, which later on my coach pointed out to me, I was like a rolling stone gathering no mass. I was everywhere. I was spreading myself thin everywhere, wanted to do everything, and somehow was in a subconsciously in a hurry to achieve a lot in a very short span of time, and thinking that somehow these certifications would be a shortcut route to that success that I was envisioning in my head. And despite this, when I was not really finding any job opportunities, is when I went into a deep depression and start to question my own self-worth, and thinking that maybe I'm doing it all the wrong way. And then it was this approach actually then, as it backfired, made me realize that I was literally caught up into a completely different route while my mission was something else. In the map, my track that I had chosen was absolutely not aligned with uh, the aim that I intend to do. And then the second question that immediately came to my mind was, then what is my purpose? If this is a faulty approach, then what could be the right one? So that was a time when I reached out to one of my very old colleague of mine, who was not my mentor, but a very good friend. And this person referred me to a coach who then helped me really sort out the mess that I was in. So, again, friends, I'm not asking you to not pursue or take up courses or certifications to upskill yourselves. The idea I want to convey here is that if you intend or if you lack a purpose or if you intend to create one for your work, then take a pause and take a step back, pause, and then think through what you're really hold in your head in regards to the purpose you have about your work. Unless you're clear about that, you would only end up just like me, acquiring certificates after certificates with no results in sight, and nor you would find any success. So after this, when I invested in my coach, here's where I understood the right approach to it. And this one, I would like to uh, share this through a metaphor, because this was a very deep dive work I've done with my coach for over a period of a very long time and uh, almost years into it. So the metaphor that I bring to you, and giving my own example, purpose is like a well-built brick wall. So if my purpose is to have a solid brick wall that I would need for anything, for my house or for anything, every brick defines what really goes into it. So using my example, as on today, if my purpose is a coach, so this is my purpose and I've written it here, I usually work with working women on their workplace challenges so that they be self-sufficient, autonomous, and financially independent. Because my work as a coach is to equip and empower this woman with all that they need to succeed at their job. And they may not be somebody very ambitious or willing to take over challenging, uh, you know, projects or goals. However, they still want to be in the job, because for them, for my target audience, being self-sufficient, autonomous, and financially independent is way more important part of their values and run deep into their mind and in their actions than any business venture or any other goal they may have in their life or in their career. So I typically work with such working women who may find themselves troubled with workplace challenges because they may not be very capable of managing that. And workplace challenges can be a range of it, right from office politics to stress management, work-life balance, to imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and a lot more. So I help them find that support, clarity, and direction. Now, with this purpose, when I worked on this along with my coach, every brick, what went into my creating this purpose, started with my own workplace struggles. Then I had to work really hard upskilling my knowledge on psychology, because as an MBA graduate, I had a limited know-how of this. For my cognitive behavior therapy, I had to undertake a rigorous license training. I also invested to learn a bit about neuroscience, because I am very, very keen on understanding the way our mind works, specific to emotions, resilience, and gender-wise, like for women and versus men, so that I could help my clients and add value to the work we do together. Besides this, the coaching model, the personal development market, the dynamics of power, how one could help people build make them into leaders, strategy, technology, and a lot more. So each of these bricks, this layer, went into, in fact, it is right now on an ongoing basis, helping me achieve this purpose of mine. And if you really look at this very signature of mine, which many years ago I was obsessed with having all these certifications right against my name, today I find not many are really relevant to what I'm doing today, except for the CBT and CLC, which is Certified Life Coach from the International Coach Federation. Most of what I learned in the past was more relevant to the HR role I was in and no longer applied to the work and the purpose I hold in my mind, in my work, and in my future planning of what I intend to do next. So, friends, with this example or this metaphor of this brick wall, what I really want to bring your attention to is, if like me, you also intend a kind of work purpose, you feel lost, confused, you do not know what really and where are you headed. I was into the impression of number of certificates and constantly invested money and time and upskilling myself into a role which I was not even going to pursue in the future. Only when I found help with my coach is when I understood that purpose is a bit of something that stems from planning and, like each and every brick, a foundation stone that I need to set so that towards the end of it, I achieve what I intend to. So for you, taking the same example, if you are struggling to find your work purpose, you can draw the same brick wall here and try to think through what all needs to go into it as each brick for you to really get to your purpose. And whether what you're thinking, so here I've written all these certificates. In your case, it could be something else. Just write what you initially thought to be and ask how relevant this is. Purpose is, as I mentioned in most of my previous videos and the learning session, the reason for which something is done. We can have a work purpose, a relationship purpose, a life purpose. These are the key ones we all have. And they keep changing over a period of time depending on the phase of life we are in. But the one key component that differentiates purpose from a goal or an aim is it is a long-term plan. It is not a short-sighted need, but rather something which we need to really think through. I'm not asking you to think too much into your future, like 10 years from now, but still, at least how you envision yourself. If at all you're creating your work purpose, how you envision yourself as an employee or as a leader in the near future of, let's say, 3 to 5 years. Or if it is to do with your relationship, how you envision your life. And then if it is to do with your life, which may entail these two and a lot more, every purpose is based on your vision for the future that you hold about yourself. And it's a long-term strategic plan alongside the reason for which you're doing it. So pay attention to this part as well. You should be very clear on the why behind you having this purpose. If you take care of these little but very, very important key elements about purpose, the first one being the reason, the category where it falls, the long-term plan, and each brick, what all that you need to really get the purpose here. With this, to a very large extent, you will find that you have achieved a bit of a clarity if in case, just like me, as how I was many years ago, totally confused with what's my work purpose. I would like to close this session with this remarkable, versatile genius, Leonardo da Vinci. Was a polymath, a versatile genius. He was not just a painter, but a scientist, theorist, sculptor, an architect, a draftsman, who very beautifully says that to make your work, keeping it with your purpose. Because if we if we really know our purpose and we make our work almost in align with our purpose, perhaps that would be the day after which we never have to ever work again. So, friends, if you are someone, my younger version, maybe almost 9 or 10 years before, the way I was confused, heedless, some faulty approach in my head, and I'm working towards it with no idea and clue of why is it that I am not really able to find success or what is it that I'm missing. If you find from this experience of mine that I've shared with you, and also this metaphor, anything that had resonated with you, if you find yourself to similar situations like that of mine, the way I was, and the kind of help my coach gave me, which really changed the entire trajectory of my career life, I would want to offer you the same support, service, clarity, and direction. So if you're interested to find your purpose, let's talk. I shall leave the link through which you can book your free consult, and we meet in our Zoom session. Thank you.